aside, because when you file your paperwork, your home address becomes a matter of public record,
right.
So we really had to sit down and think about the fact, there's some crazies out there.
Right. Well, again, I don't think I did anything wrong. I don't believe, it's funny, there's stuff I can say where I go, I probably shouldn't have said that.
Whoops.
And you know what? I've even said and posted stuff like that in the past. And I'm sitting there going, this is the one that got me in trouble? Like, like out of all the stuff I've said since Facebook started or since I got on Facebook, this is the one that got me in trouble. Are you kidding me? So what it all boils down to when it's the end of the day and it all boils down to it, the administrator's allowed free speech. I'm allowed free speech as citizens, as taxpayers. However, once she crosses that line and becomes the administrator, while she's still allowed in any town employee or municipal employee, is allowed a freedom of speech to an extent as a municipal employee. So I even researched and I got a hold of my attorney and said, could she have thought I was a municipal employee? Is an appointment to a committee being a municipal employee? Because now that First Amendment line gets a little blurry, right? And he goes, well, even if it is, he goes, there's three things they have to prove. He goes, number one, did you do anything that's going to hurt the community? And I said, well, no. I may take some tax revenue away from it when people start questioning their bill, but there's nothing I did to hurt the community. He goes, okay, so you didn't violate the free speech there. And he goes, you didn't do anything to violate the community there. He goes, and then, he goes, did your post help the community? I said, well, I believe it did. He goes, okay. And he goes, and the third thing is were you doing it as a member of the town? And I said, well, no, I was doing it as a citizen.
Right.
And he goes, well, then you're not doing it in the content of a municipal employee, so you have every right to ask it. And that's when I said, you know what? I'm going to the media with this because I'm being unjustly accused of being negative and unsupportive of my town for asking a question. So and I even went as far yesterday on the radio to say, if I had questioned the committee I'm on, Parks and Recreation, if I had said, we don't cut the grass. I drove down by the field yesterday and they didn't plow out the parking lot. If I had said something to that on the committee I serve on, as a committee member, I could see my resignation being asked for. To ask why my wife's car increased in value by $3,000, I don't get it.
And I think that's, one of the bigger issues here is that this is maybe someone listening to this isn't necessarily interested in North Smithfield, but the administrators in a lot of the towns, if not all of them, kind of have this same attitude. Unfortunately, they're jammed into these jobs, and it's kind of a, how dare you speak up? How dare you show up at this meeting? How dare you speak up at the town council meeting? This is a situation that could play out in any city or town across Rhode Island.
Yeah, it is. And, it should. It honestly should play out in every town and city across Rhode Island because you're all getting taken for a ride. I'll guarantee it. Start looking at the tax bills. Once this first started hitting nerves in my community, I got hundreds, and I literally mean hundreds of emails and text messages from people saying, I started looking into mine. Mine went up $4,000. My wife's went up $3,000. My wife's went up $6,000. Mine went up $2,000. My trailer, I bought a trailer for $1,000. It went up $500. Well, now all of a sudden people are looking in North Smithfield because my Facebook page. A lot of my friends are from North Smithfield, but I'll guarantee you, if you go down and just start randomly picking away at the North Kingstown one, you're going to start finding people are assessed higher there too. This is something that everyone should be looking at. Like I said, to me, I don't see it as a tax issue anymore. I see it as a free speech issue with my administrator. And my administrator, like I said, as a taxpayer, she has the right to free speech too. But once she puts it on town letterhead, it becomes a little bit different.
So speaking of free speech, and that kind of ties into alternative media, is there anything you'd like to address here in this format as we wrap things up that you haven't been able to address in the more traditional media outlets?
You know, I think they've been pretty good about letting me address my issues. I think one of the big things was, you know, you can only fit so much in a 2-minute clip on the I-Team, and you can only do so much before commercial break on the radio, on WPRO, on the interview I did there. But I don't think a lot of people realized that, you know, there's a bigger issue. I mean, there's an issue in every town. There's an issue in every state, and it's not politically driven. And that issue is that your taxes, you basically are being told by your local municipalities that you have no say. And that, to me, is wrong. The founding fathers, if they knew that, you know, you had an administrator that's telling you can't speak your mind and question the norm, there's no way that would be acceptable to them. The whole premise of my argument today, and my argument, like tomorrow, there's a town council meeting tomorrow that I'll be attending, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're gonna do, you know, you're gonna go off and have this big speech," and I say, "Well, you know, no." I said, "I think everyone knows where I stand right now, so I may get up, may make a little joke because, you know, I like being funny." So
always open with a joke.
Well, you know, so like maybe I'll ask you this, right? Because like I was thinking about going along with the, you know, kind of like the Simpsons theme and do the "I'm Tony Soly, you may remember me from such hits as," you know. but yeah, she probably won't like that one too much. But no, I mean, the issue is, you know, she in the past has also had some freedom of speech issues, and that's one thing that, you know, I think I didn't listen to Tara Granahan after I got off the interview because I was in the gym yesterday, but I guess someone had brought it up. But in the past, our administrator has had some free speech issues, and I'm still trying to figure out how what I've done is any different than what she's done.
And with those allegations, and we're going to link those allegations to this podcast, she was using pseudonyms or stage names. You are out there speaking up as you.
Correct. Yes. So in 2010, there's talk about a windmill going up in North Smithfield. And in a Valley Breeze article, Administrator Hamilton used 15 different names to, as she put it, construct dialogue and keep the talks going. However, halfway through, maybe even towards the end, it turned to the school committee. And once it turned to the school committee, she used another pseudonym and basically bashed the school committee. Mm-hmm. I mean, I took it as an assault on the school committee.
You didn't like the tone.
I did not like the tone, conveniently enough. And, you know, I'm sitting there going, well, wait a minute. My administrator did this. It's right. almost the I learned it by watching you thing, you know, and I'm sitting there going, you know, people are like, oh, you're going to rehash something from 2010. Well, you know, I sit there and I'm looking at it and I go, she says in the as a pseudonym, which was proven to be her, that she admitted to being her, as Jeff H. to the reference school committee comment, school committee, I have heard they're going to cut sports, AP, and music no matter what. It's unbelievable they would punish kids because they are unwilling to look at where they can cut from their budget first. Raises for them and not the kids. What a political game and a shame. So I ask the listening public to this show, was me asking how a value increase on my taxes, an assessed value on my taxes of $3,000, any worse than the administrator calling out the school committee saying they're giving the school department raises and holding it against the kids, and that they're a shame and that they're punishing the kids. So I'll let you decide as you're going to link the article. But again, I did it as Tony Soly, and I'm not afraid to speak as Tony Soly. Administrator Hamilton used 15 different names.
Well, I think a lot of people would agree with me that I'm glad, and I'm sure they're glad, that you have rescinded your resignation. And, of course, we hope that you'll continue to be involved in the community and that you won't let this silliness dissuade you. And, I think that's a good message to anybody listening to this thinking about getting involved. Just do your thing, rep a good brand, and don't let stuff like this dissuade you from trying to make a difference.
Well, exactly. So even if, I've rescinded my resignation, if they allow me to serve on the committee, I will work with the administrator. I will work with the rest of the committee members and the Public Works Director to ensure our Parks and Recreation Department is as fruitful as it can be. If I'm not allowed to rescind my resignation and I am no longer a member of the committee, well, there's other committees in town. Well, there's other nonprofits in town, that the NSAA, which is the North Smithfield Athletic Association, and there's a couple others that I'll donate my time to them. I mean, what it all boils down to is I want my community to succeed, and you know what? If the administrator doesn't want my help, I'll be more than happy to go help another group.
And I'd be remiss if we didn't wrap this up with letting you give out the information for Punks for a Princess.
Oh, so I get to do my shameless plug? Yeah, so if you get a minute, go over and look at punksforaprincess.com. We raise money for kids in, like I said, kids with life-threatening illnesses, for them and their families. And everything we do, it's one of those, we're one of the few nonprofits where we have pretty much no overhead. We pay our yearly insurance, and our, everything else goes right to the child. And, occasionally we'll link up, like this year, we linked up with Boston's Children's Hospital, or we linked up with A Wish Come True, or Make-A-Wish, or, it depends. Usually we try to do local charities, but, yeah, check us out, and, come to one of our events. There, we're going to be working on doing an improv thing. We just sent an email about that this morning. So
you could do that at the town council meeting.
There you go. Right? No, I think we got to charge admission. They won't allow us though.
Thanks again, man. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Tony.
Tony Jones here. My guest has been Tony Soly, talking about. Be sure to click back, everybody, on the podcast, because we're going to post on there the links to what we've been talking about. My guest has been Tony Soly. Tony Jones here for Rhode Island Free Radio, online at rifreeradio.org.